The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I am your host. I am your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, and the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network. Now, if you'd like to send me an email right here in our studio, it's a very simple email address, studio@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main radio website where you can find out what we've done in the past, what we're doing now, and what we hope to be doing in the future, whether we're on this planet or not, at www.xzonerradio.com. My first guest tonight is an old, good friend. Well, I mean old, not in the age. I mean old in the length of time I've known her. She's a redhead, so I have to say it that way. My guest this hour is Gwilda Wiyaka. She is the hostess with the mostess of the Science of Magic. That's at www.thescienceofmagic.net, which is heard here on the Mutual Broadcast Network Saturdays and Sundays. Now, Gwilda has a new book that is coming out, The Science of Magic Book of Teachings, Volume 1. It's the first book in a series based on her own writings that open every episode of the Science of Magic radio show. Drawing on the subject matter of each guest and armed with over 40 years experience in shamanism, 30 years in alternative health. No, that's combined, not you don't take 40 and add 30. No, that's combined. And degrees in psychology and religious studies. Gwilda introduces relevant and leading-edge information that supports spiritual evolution and personal empowerment. Rich with wisdom and inspirational quotes packaged in digestible segments. This is a book that will pull you from cover to cover. Sounds like what my wife does with our bed at night. She takes all the covers from cover to cover. It also serves as a daily inspirational reader for years to come. Available on her website, tsompublications.com, and, of course, on Amazon and wherever fine books are being sold or going to be sold. Joining me now from the beautiful state of grass-smoking Colorado is my friend Gwilda Wiyaka. And Gwilda, how are you, dear?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine tonight, thanks. Well, hey, listen, I had to make the audience understand that it wasn't, 40 years experience of shamanism, then add on another 30 years in alternative health, and then add on because you are a very young lady.
Well, being a crone is good in my line of work, so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but I know you well, and I don't want to suffer the wrath of Gwilda, the red-haired, blue-eyed Celtic queen. So tell me, before we start, how are things going with the Science of Magic, the radio show?
They're really going well. I'm just so excited about all the wonderful guests I have and what wonderful information is coming through as a result. So it's really, really going well.
Excellent. And, what are you up to now, 50 shows?
Yeah, close.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had the pleasure of listening to a number of them, and you've got some great guests on there.
Yeah, they're just some wonderful people out there. I just feel so blessed to get to meet them and play with them.
So tell me, Gwilda, when you started on your quest many years ago, did you ever imagine that you would be a shaman, that you would have degrees in alternative health and psychology and religious studies? And based on where you have been and all that you've accomplished, what do you think is next for Gwilda Wiyaka?
Well, probably more of the same. I just can't seem to quit writing, and I love doing the radio program, and I love bringing information to people. So I think I've kind of found a place to settle out.
Certainly sounds like it. Let me see here. This new book that you've got coming out, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it was actually inspired because people kept asking me, my guests would ask me to send them a copy of the teaching that I did, and then some people would email me that had been actually listeners and wanting copies of it. And I thought, well, when you hear this information just once, it's so dense that really might as well put it all together in a book. And that's
all right, Gwilda, stand by. We've got to take our first break. X-Zone Nation, Gwilda Wiyaka is my guest, and we'll both be back on the other side as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Mutual Broadcast Network. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships. Not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited.
They do not give up until you pay.
They put a lien on my house.
How about you? Do you owe back taxes? Call Tax Solutions now and get some help. For a limited time, the IRS offers a tax forgiveness program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Our team can make it easier for you to pay back taxes, avoid tax liens, and get a fresh start. Sometimes you just need a second chance.
I call Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
At Tax Solutions Now, our affiliates are all accredited by the Better Business Bureau and members of the National Association of Tax Professionals.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now. Call 800-729-3321. 800-729-3321. 800-729-3321. 800-729-3321.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and you're listening to us live and around the world on the Mutual Broadcast Network. My guest this hour, the one and only Gwilda Wiyaka, is with us. And Gwilda, first of all, maybe we should just go back to the very beginning. And what is a shaman?
Well, there's lots of different definitions of shamanism. Some of them are anthropological, and some are esoteric. There's shamanism at the base of every one of our cultures. It's not just a Native American tradition, African shamanism, Celtic shamanism, you name it, that's there. And my definition of shamanism is an organized set of rituals that helps the practitioner focus their ability to manage matter at the quantum level. So it really works at the quantum mechanical level. And the anthropologist looking at it from the outside, it looked like a bunch of jumping around and banging on drums and sleight of hand. And so they saw it as a magical, mystical practice, an occult sort of thing. But actually, it's a form of science.
I was just going to say that because as you were discussing what, you bring in quantum physics and then, of course, string theory comes in, you are basically, as a shaman, one of the very first quantum physicists.
Yes, absolutely. And the rituals are just used to help focus that and to bring metaphor through the imagination to try to make sense to the mind of what's going on at the quantum level. And then those have been mistaken for, we're working with spirits and ghosts and this and that. Well, you are and you aren't, you know.
But isn't there a relationship towards ghost hauntings, the paranormal, science, as well as quantum physics?
Absolutely. They're kind of one and the same. And I think that's what's so important right now is that we start understanding that it's all a matter of frequency and where we're focused, not as to what we experience.
What has been your most exciting or your most pivotal moment as a shaman?
I think probably when I was at a deathbed, actually, and I was sitting there helping this woman get ready to cross, and coaching her through because she was pretty scared. And all of a sudden, the room was full of her ancestors. I could see them as if I could touch them, and that's as corporeal as I've ever seen.
Okay, let me ask you: when you say you could see them, were they appearing to you in any? Let me try to ask this question so it makes sense. When you saw the relatives of this person who was getting ready to pass over to the other side, how did they appear to you? Were they wearing clothes? Were they young? Were they old? Because how would you perceive them if you didn't know what they looked like prior to coming down or coming across?
That's what's so fun is I kind of see them in my mind's eye, but I also feel them in the room and goosebump. But when I see them in my mind's eye or in my imagination, they have a specific appearance, and I was able to describe them. And after the crossing, after the death, one of the relatives that had been sitting in the room with me went and dug around and brought out an old photo album, and I had described several of them right down to the clothes they were wearing in the photo album. So I assume that what I'm actually tapping into is the memory of the people in the room, that kind of gives me a picture of what's there, but I'm also feeling the actual presence of the spirits there to help them cross.
Is it possible that what you're actually feeling or perceiving or receiving is the memories of the person who is getting ready to pass across?
Very likely, Rob, because when we get ready to cross, when we get ready to leave our body, we have to step up our frequency. In other words, you leave the body that's been costing you a lot of frequency to run, and it's going down.
Right.
And you start raising your frequency, and that's when you go through purgatory or through the bardo, or they say when you're drowning, your whole life passes before your eyes. Well, what's happening is you're moving up the frequency scale, and you're revisiting your traumas on the way out, or your memories on the way out, so that happened at that time at that frequency. And so, yeah, very likely that's exactly what I'm tapping into.
Explanation, my guest this hour is Gwilda Wiyaka. She is the host of The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka. That airs here on the Mutual Broadcast Network Saturdays and Sundays. And for all the programming listings of the Mutual Broadcast Network, visit the website at mutualbroadcast.com. And don't forget, Jeremy Scott follows me every night, Monday through Friday, in Dark 30, a great show. Gwilda, what happens to a person when they die? And let me ask you something about once you pass over. Do relationships continue on the other side?
I don't know that I can give you a real accurate answer to that, but I can tell you that when we leave our body, depending on how far we want to climb up that frequency scale, that depends on how far we are on the other side. Some people leave their body, but really kind of hang around here close for a while to make sure loved ones are okay, and the relationship continues. I think as long as we have memory or we have genetics in common with those that have crossed, we have a relationship if we care to pursue it.
Is there sex on the other side?
I'll let you know when I get there.
Oh, now, come on, you speak to dead people. Where do little spirit babies come from then if there's no sex on the other side?
I hate to disappoint you, but I don't think it works that way.
Why not?
I don't know. You got to have a body, I think.
Okay. Now, here is a serious question. Even though I thought the one about sex was pretty serious myself. If somebody is on the other side and they decide to come back, reincarnation, right? Let's say they come back and someone goes to a medium and wants to communicate with this departed person who has now come back reincarnated, do they get a kind of a busy signal?
I love that. Actually, I think that the problem with that viewpoint is that it doesn't take into consideration that all time is now. So the person that's reincarnated now is alive now, back on the planet, but the aspect of them or the personality of them or whatever that had crossed over can be there as well. I've actually had a visitation from myself in some of my journeys, warning me or telling me of things that could come and different choices I could make to prevent them. And that was a little disconcerting, to say the least.
So what kind of messages or what kind of warnings? Were they global warnings or were they personal warnings?
I've had both. Mostly if I get a visitation from myself as a descendant, it can be a personal one. You know, well, if you make this choice here, this is going to be the outcome. You might want to look at other choices. But also, I do get indications of things that could happen if we don't change direction, which helps me try to focus what I offer out in the world.
How do you do that? How do you offer it out to the world?
Well, through writing or through the radio program or through my teachings. I have a school,
I get it,
Shamanic
right?
Art School. Yeah.
By the way, how is the Shamanic Art School?
Hey, it's going good. This October, I'm going to have hold a Block 1 class for the entry level. It's a week-long retreat up here in Coaldale. Registration deadline's in September, so that should be fun.
And, of course, if anybody is listening, they can visit the website at
www.findyourpathhome.com.
And don't forget, Exonation, smoking marijuana is legal in Colorado. You know, that's not a bad hook to get tourism into Colorado. And all seriousness, kidding aside, apparently there's a lot of money being brought into the state.
I would imagine so, yes.
What was it like the very first time that you realized that you were able to communicate with a dead person? Or, for that matter, what was it like the very first time that you saw a dead person? And I don't mean a cadaver, I mean a dead person who was alive.
Well, I have seen some cadavers, but actually I was so young that I just took it in my stride. I was about 5 years old, and I used to sit under a tree and visit with an old gentleman that had lived on the homestead that my father and stepmother were renting. And, I'd sit out there, I'd have half a day school, kindergarten. And so I'd spend my afternoons out there just visiting with him, and I didn't worry about it until one day I walked into the old house, the original house. My stepmother was storing some stuff there, and I found the picture on the wall with my friend on it, and I said, "Oh, that's the guy I talked to." She just thought it was an imaginary playmate, and that really kind of freaked her out. But I just took it in my stride, and I guess I have since then.
Is anyone else in your family a shaman, or does anyone else in your family have the ability to see dead people?
Yes, actually, my half-sister, Lisa, has trained with me. She's trained through the school, and she's very gifted. She kind of aligns with the Lakota way, but she's there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm just saying that's where her other training is in the Lakota way. But she's very gifted.
What is the significance of the Lakota way? Now, the Lakota are a very, very old Indian culture within the United States.
Right, they are, and my first teacher was Lakota, and so I have quite a bit of background in the Lakota way. They're lovely people. They have beautiful traditions. They've been generous to share some of their traditions in teachings and whatnot. So, and it's accessible. There's Lakota just about everywhere you want to go anymore, and so because it was my first teacher, I of course have a real affection for it. But it's just another Native American shamanic way. Now the Lakota way and the Lakota shamanic way are two different things. The Lakota way is like what they call, and this is not an insult, the common man's way, which is a religion. The Lakota shamanism is a shamanic practice, and they aren't really one and the same thing.
Is the Lakota way of being a shaman different from, let's say, the Hopi way of being a shaman?
Every tradition has different stories, they have different practices, they have different twists on a thing, but the commonalities are much more prevalent than the differences. The same principles are used. You can see where the ceremonies, although they might differ, are getting to the same place. So it's pretty fascinating to see how much they do have in common.
Very interesting. Gwilda, you and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Exonation, Gwilda Wiyaka is our special guest. She is the host of The Science of Magic, www.thescienceofmagic.com. And, of course, the Science of Magic broadcast here on the Mutual Broadcast Network Saturday and Sundays. For all the programming on the Mutual Broadcast Network, visit our website at www.mutualbroadcast.com. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Still to come tonight, Corey Connaughton, the gentleman who does the X-Zone Tech Zone, will be joining me in the next hour. We're also going to be speaking to Peter Kling and Boyd Purcell. All this coming up here in the X-Zone. Whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be back after this news break.
Mutual Broadcast News, I'm Leo Ashcraft. Indiana child welfare officials have warned an organization that installed 2 baby boxes at firehouses where mothers can drop off unwanted newborns anonymously to remove them, saying they question their safety and whether women who use them could face child abandonment charges. 6 hospitals in Arizona have installed drawers in their emergency rooms that allow women to drop off infants anonymously, although state law neither authorizes nor prohibits them. Nearly 2 months after a woman was found severely burned on the Crow Indian Reservation, the tribe is still seeking information about the case from federal investigators. The victim was found on April 17th in a field near the border between the Northern Cheyenne and Crow Reservation with burns over most of her body. Doctors told the woman's family she had walked about 3 miles before collapsing. Reservation residents believe the woman was set on fire. Mutual Broadcast News. Depend on it.
The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howe will expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades, there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com. What if someone told you you could live to be 120? Would you believe him? What if he told you the Bible guaranteed it? All you needed to do was follow his rules and buy his products. Would you do it? What if you invested 20 years of your life in him? What if he tested his substances on your child? What if your child became brain damaged as a result? Meet Dr. Tyler Belknap, a fast-talking Texas admin turned health guru. At the helm of a vast health food and supplement empire, he has established himself as the authority on nutrition and longevity. But what his followers don't know is that his products are laced with bizarre psychoactive substances from genetically modified plants developed in his very own secret lab. No wonder his customers can't stop using them. Tyler Belknap will stop at nothing to keep his edge in the market, even if it means experimenting on children. Chasing 120, a story of food, faith, fraud, and the pursuit of longevity, a novel novel from the pen of political cartoonist Monty Wolverton is an easy and entertaining read full of rich characters and intrigue. It hits home in a world filled with all kind of hucksterism and offers a glimpse of what can happen when GMO technology falls into the wrong hands. Chasing 120 by Monty Wolverton. Get your copy today at www.ptm.org/120 or on Amazon.com. Back in Victorian England, a famous theologian posed a perplexing riddle. Why are the two top personalities in the Bible tagged with the numbers 7 and 11? Academics agree the answer is found in the stunning discovery of a hitherto secret Bible structure explained in a new book called The Genesis Grid. The discovery is so simple that preschool children could illustrate it. Certain claims are hugely controversial and may offend some, but at the X Zone, we've studied this awesome new book and agree with one expert, and I quote, "These discoveries appear to be beyond coincidence." So who or what hid this wonderful pattern in the Bible, and what might they do next? Find out more, X Zone Nation, and read reviews on www.genesisgrid.co.uk. That's www.genesisgrid.co.uk.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-906-0783. That's 1-800-906-0783. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-906-0783. That's 1-800-906-0783.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. You've got it on the Mutual Broadcast Network. If you'd like to send an email, studio@XZone Radio TV on all social media sites, XZone Radio TV, and our website at www.xzoneradio.com. Gwilda Wiyaka is our special guest. She is a shaman. She is an author. She is a psychologist. She has degrees in psychology and in religious studies. And I would imagine, Gwilda, part of that thing you do is to learn more about ancient cultures. And in your investigation into what has happened many years prior to you and I tromping on this planet, well, in this life anyway, have you found any commonality between the different natures, the different cultures, the different religions? Gwilda? Gwilda, are you there? Where did you go, Gwilda? Gwilda, where are you, dear? Oh, wait a sec. I can hear her in the background, but where did she go? This is the question. Where did she go? Wait a sec, Gwilda. I don't know where you went, my dear, but we're going to try and find out. X Zone Nation, Gwilda Wiyaka is our special guest. www.thescienceofmagic.com. And I'm sorry, thescienceofmagic.net. What we're going to do is we are just going to see if we can get Gwilda back. Let me try this. Gwilda, are you there yet? Gwilda, are you there? Whoops. All right, Gwilda, what's going to happen? We're going to let you go, and we're going to try and connect with you again, okay? All right. Geez, technology is great, X Zone Nation, as long as it works. So let me see here. We're going to try and get Gwilda back here. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, ringing. We see it. And do we have Gwilda back here yet? Yeah, I see her here. She can hear me fine, but I can't hear her. So let's see what we can do here. This is interesting. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just see what happens when we do this. Are you still there, Gwilda? All right, are you there yet? Are you there yet? I don't know. Well, we're still going to try and get Gwilda back with us, since we don't know what happened here. Let me see here. All right, Gwilda, stand by. We're trying to rescue you, my dear. I know these things happen on the other side, but they shouldn't happen on this side. Maybe it's because I was making jokes about the other side that this happened. You never know. Let me see here. Let's go over here to this. And this. No, that didn't do it. Gwilda, you there? Why does this always happen? It seems that there is something that happens at this very time. And let me see here. Da 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 dum. Da 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 da. Wormhole. Yeah. I don't understand it because everything is working fine here. Let's see what happens if we do this. Gwilda, are you there? No, she's not there. Gwilda lost us. All right, how's that? Are you back, Gwilda? Type to me. Come on, Gwilda. We lost you. Well, now, this is rather sad. We lost our guest again. Well, let's try and get her back again. All righty. Let's see. We'll try this. And we will try this again over here. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, Gwilda, I see that you're on, but you can't hear me, or we can't hear you. Are you still there, Gwilda? Okay, let me see. I hear you. Okay, that's great. All right. All right, stand by. We are still trying to figure this out. Are you there? 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 All right, let me see. We're going to try something else here. Please stand by. Da-da-da-da, Well, let me see. Nothing has changed over here. All right, let me see if we can try something else over here. Da-da-da, da-da-da. All right, well, we are trying our very best. We have somebody who is trying to help us out over here right now. So we will see what's going on. If you can just give me, just keep on talking, okay? That's it. All right, Gwilda, can you just talk to me, my dear? Oh, my heavens. All right, Gwilda says she is talking. We can't hear anything. And, I don't know. Oh, yeah, we love it. We really, truly love it. Anyway, let me tell you about Gwilda Wiyaka while we're trying to figure out what's going on here. Gwilda Wiyaka is the author of So We're Here, So We're Still Here, Now What? Spiritual Evolution and Personal Empowerment in a New Era is considered by many to be today's foremost expert on modern-day application of ancient shamanic principles. She is the founder and director of the Path Home Shamanic Schools, a Colorado State certified occupational school of the shamanic arts. Gwilda is also a preceptor for the University of Colorado School of Medicine, where she provides instructions. Let me just see. Whoops! I think I just heard her. Gwilda, say something. Whoops! Try it again.
The other side of the veil.
All right, try now.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you are.
Aha!
There you go.
I just came back from the other side.
Well, what were you doing on the other side?
Well, you asked me a question. I went over to research.
I see. Okay. Well, we're glad that you're back with us, Gwilda. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries.
Just give me a sec here. I'm just typing the engineer over at Mutual Broadcast a little note here. Okay. Anyway, you're back. That is the main thing. Okay, so let us see. What is a precept?
A precept is a person, at least how it applies to what I do, is I have doctors come shadow me, and or I teach classes so to show them the interface between allopathic medicine and shamanic healing, and that way they can get an idea of A, if they want to study it themselves somewhat. I've had doctors study with me, or B, how they can figure out when a person really needs to be referred for shamanic care. So it's really exciting. It's fun. I've done it for probably over 5 years now.
So how do the established professional doctors take a shamanic practitioner who was a precept in their medical school?
How do they take me in? They approached me because several of their docs had experience with me, because I had one of their instructors that would, when he would have the doctors come shadow him, he would have them come for a visit to me to get a feel. And one doctor was so impressed that he went back and talked to the university, and they connected with me and asked me to come teach.
And the rest is history, so they say.
There you see, yeah.
All right. How do the people who come to your school to learn how to be a shaman, how long does it take them before they can actually go out and do shamanic things?
Well, actually, if they take block 1, they learn the journey trance where they can do divination. They learn how to do what we call power animal retrieval. In other words, help people reconnect with frequencies that they've disconnected from as far as personal power in the world. They learn how to interpret the journey and what's going on. So they, after the first week, they're up and running as far as a personal practice goes. To work on other people, they have to go a little further, and to get we're a state certified school, and I certify practitioners. It's about a 2-year process. But a lot of people come for personal growth and development and want to learn, how to use it in their life and how to empower their life with the skill.
So what can a person do once they have completed their shamanic course?
Well, everybody's a little different in how they apply it. There's a shamanic aspect to everything. I've trained veterinarians that use it in their practice to figure out what's going on with the dog. For medical intuitive, I've trained medical intuitives. And, we can use it for animal communication. We can use it to find lost people or articles. We can use it to do shamanic healing. In other words, places where people have spiritual illness or depossessions or helping the dead to cross. I mean, it can be used in so many ways. And everybody has kind of their niche, someplace that they're stronger than others. So they tend to find what that is and excel there.
And what was your niche? What is your niche?
Well, I'm kind of broadband. I'm really good at medical intuitive because I have so much of a background in medicine. And I've worked with doctors a lot and with biofeedback, so I've been able to get feedback on how accurate I am and what's working and what's not, and that's been very useful for me. But I just kind of live in a shamanic way. I had a really bad closed head injury, and I think if I didn't have my shamanic skills, I wouldn't function real well in the world. But because I have the shamanic skills, I can bypass the fact that I don't have any short-term memory to speak of and function quite nicely. So I use it in every aspect of my life at this point.
How has being a shaman enriched your life?
Oh, let me count the ways. I'm never alone because being shamanically trained, I can connect with life at all levels. I can connect with a blade of grass. I can connect with a tree. I can connect with a bird. I can connect with you. And there's no space between me and all that is, and that's an amazing comfort because most of us live such isolated lives even when we're around each other.
Why do you think that is? Why can't we live in harmony? Why can't we communicate with each other? Why can't we make things work right?
I think that's where we're moving towards. I think that's the evolution of humankind, is being able to come back into that place where we are all one, and there's no point making war on yourself. If you follow the frequency scale up high enough, there's a place at which there is no seam between you and other, or between species, or between races. And when we start recognizing that, I think is when we're going to start seeing peace.
But what about all the different religions and the religious strife that we're seeing here across the world these days? How can we actually work to make all this negativity and all this hate go away, where my religion is better than yours, my God is better than yours?
Yeah, that's such a misnomer. And, we have moved through a really dark time in the galaxy that has put a ceiling on the frequency, and what used to be an access point to spirit, which is what religion was designed to be, is an organized set of rituals to help you access unity, became dogmatic. And once it became dogmatic, then it was used to control the masses. And so it has been misinformed out there as to what the real meaning and what the real purpose behind religion is, and that's what we have as this big modern day mess. But the original religions were all based on the same thing, is reconnecting with Source.
Is Source God?
Yes, that's the way I would interpret it.
Then what about the other prophets? I had a guest on last night, Chrissy Blaze, who believes that Jesus, Muhammad, and the other ascended masters were actually extraterrestrials.
Well, that's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. I see Jesus as this amazing transducer. So spiritual information, or God, when you come to that level of unity, is so beyond what we can comprehend with our little linear minds that we need a translation point. And I think that that's what Christ provided and continues to provide, is a frequency translation point. Well, if he's not physically present on the planet anymore, I guess he's an extraterrestrial. But he's still there. We can come and go through him, get information through him, just exactly like he taught. And I think it's the same with a lot of the other prophets and stuff, is that they were a translation point for information. And even though they aren't physically here, if you think of them, if you call their name, you're aligning with that frequency, and that creates a link between you and the divine.
If the fact that just because the prophet is no longer here on Earth, that means to some that the prophet must be an extraterrestrial, doesn't that mean when we all die that to that very same way of thinking that we're all extraterrestrials?
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
That is kind of scary. Let me ask you something. You live in Colorado, a beautiful state, and I know that I joke around with you about it being the pot state of the Union. Have you ever seen a UFO in Colorado?
I personally don't think I have. I've seen a lot of UFOs. Every time somebody throws a frisbee, you got one of those going, but as far as being unidentified. But as far as an extraterrestrial or a spaceship or a UFO, no, I personally have not. I have, however, done spiritual work or soul retrieval work with someone, actually a group of people, that had absolutely believed they had been abducted, and I could see the entire thing through the journey. I could see it through their eyes. Did it really happen? I don't know. Is that the way they translate accessing higher frequency information that they couldn't process? I don't know. But I've seen it in that regard.
All right, Gwilda, stand by. You and I have to take our break. We'll be back on the other side. Exo Nation, don't go away.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Joyce with the X-Zone. This is the week we begin on April 14th. Although we may feel more relaxed as our emotions gain clarity, this is no time to get lazy since we're experiencing transformation on a global scale. Dynamic aspects to revolutionary Uranus and powerful Pluto continue to drive powerful, profound changes that impact all of our lives. This week brings Pluto retrograde, the full moon in Libra with an eclipse, Mercury and Uranus meet up, and the Sun moves into Taurus on the 18th. And then comes Easter with the Jupiter-Pluto face-off. Get ready to rock and roll because this could be a week that music never stops. During the next 5 months, it's important to remember that although you may not always be able to control circumstances, you are always in control of how you react and respond to them. Mental sparks fly by on Monday, flooding the mind with exciting new information, encouraging some out-of-the-box type thinking. The 15th is tax day in the U.S., beginning of Passover, and a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, the first one in over 4 years. This eclipse is visible in its entirety over all of North America. Visible for 5 hours, the eclipse could trigger a surge of protests, outbursts, and explosions over the next 5 weeks. So try to keep a low profile, stay calm, and have patience. The Sun moves into Taurus on Friday, and a very powerful and creative time when it can easily make steady progress for you if you stay focused. Slow-moving Taurus appreciates the status quo, and not any time when abrupt changes are appreciated. They will come, though, over the next week with the Grand Cross on the 28th. So remember that Easter is about death and resurrection. Life comes out of death, and light follows darkness. Your Jupiter benevolence is on the way to you. Get ready for change and open your arms and heart to your good.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-824-9875. 800-824-9875. That's 800-824-9875. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Which is actually treated shamanically as well. So that should be fun, is dancing with somebody that works with PTSD and then relating it how it works with shamanism. So that would be Michelle Rosenthal. And then I have a gentleman by the name of Evan. We're going to be working with past life regression. We have someone with the Witch's Book of Power, which should be pretty fascinating. I believe that's Stephen. Yeah. And then Doug DeLong is going to be on past life regression and stuff like that. So that's what we got coming up this next week. It's just really fun how everything does relate back to science and magic, and we've got some good ones.
I got to tell you that Doug DeLong is a great guy. We've had him on the X-Zone. He is in, he's in Saskatchewan, I believe.
Aha, okay, yes.
Yeah, great guy, and always filled with information. He runs the Mystery School.
Yes, he does. He and his wife do up there. Mm-hmm.
So let me see. Just give us some of the topics that you have discussed on the Science of Magic. And you can go to Gwilda's website at www.thescienceofmagic.net to listen to past shows.
Well, of course, we're touching on shamanism, but I also work with scientists, with doctors, with hormonal imbalances and how they relate to the chakra systems. Worked with people about astrology. Worked with people about witchcraft and Wicca, and how it's really fun how that dovetails back to shamanism. I always had kind of a funny view of witchcraft and Wicca because I didn't know much about it, but it's pretty much one and the same. Had a voodoo queen on, and voodoo, of course, is African shamanism. And a lot of people that work with ghosts, we just touch all the subjects. Had someone that does brain integration, hypnotherapy, all sorts of fun stuff.
You do voodoo, he do voodoo. How come voodoo, when you mention the name voodoo, people think of voodoo dolls, they think of curses, they think of that guy that was on one of the James Bond shows. What is it with voodoo?
Well, voodoo was a very pure African form of shamanism, but then when the slaves were brought over, the shamanism or the voodoo came with them, but they were disempowered and misused and badly treated, and so some of them started using the shamanic skills to try to fight back, to protect themselves, and the stuff really works, and so it started getting people scared, and when people are scared, they just take it and run, and there you have it.
Yeah, but does it really work because it's mind over matter? If a person doesn't believe it's going to work, will it work?
Yes, it does, in the sense that whether you believe or not, I can still go do what I do. How subject you are to it, on the other hand, is totally different. So say, for instance, if someone were to ask me for a healing, but they did not believe there was going to be any difference made whatsoever, their frequency is going to stay at their belief system, and there's nothing I can do to change that. If, however, they ask me to do a healing and they're open to a shift in frequency or a paradigm shift, then it can have an effect. And I think it's the same way with cursing and this and that, depending. Now, if you really want to overpower someone, you get more than one person doing the cursing. But we don't do that much anymore, at least not intentionally.
Intentionally, that's the key word. It has a lot to do with intent.
Absolutely, it does. And so, we can inadvertently put curses on people. We just don't watch our words. We don't watch our thoughts, because we don't think they have any effect. Well, they do. And that's where the myths and legends of curses came from.
All right, my dear, you and I have to say so long for tonight. Gwilda, take care of yourself, Exo Nation. You can learn more about Gwilda at thescienceofmagic.net. I'll be back after this news break. Don't go away.